Thomas Charles of Bala, 1755 to 1814. Mary Jones, 1784 to 1864, a young girl from the countryside in North Wales, was on a mission. She was desperate to get her very own Bible. Through the Bible studies at the Methodist Society Mary had been attending, God had planted within her heart a seed of desire for Himself. By the time she was 8, her faith came alive and blossomed. When Mary was 10, she learned to read the Bible in Welsh through the Sunday schools that had been organised throughout Wales. Captivated by the Bible stories she had learned and hungry for more, Mary would walk 2 miles to her neighbour's house to read the Bible there, memorising what she could before returning home. The only other Bible in town was in the parish church. This limited access to God's Word could not satisfy Mary's hunger for it. She needed a Bible of her own. Being from a very poor family, however, she could not afford one. Undeterred, 10-year-old Mary began working, mending clothes, selling eggs, and babysitting. She saved every penny she earned for 6 years. When she had enough to buy a Bible, 16-year-old Mary went into her village but found no Bibles for sale there. Then she heard that the famed preacher, Reverend Thomas Charles, was selling Bibles in the town of Bala. So, one morning in 1800, Mary said goodbye to her mother and set out toward Bala, walking barefoot for 25 miles across rugged mountain terrain, carrying her shoes in a bag to keep them clean. She arrived at Bala in the evening, tired and hungry. The next morning she put her shoes on her sore, swollen feet, ran to Thomas Charles's house and knocked on the door. "Good morning, miss. What can I do for you?" said Charles, appearing in the doorway. "Sir," Mary exclaimed with beaming face, "I heard you are selling Bibles. I wish to buy a Bible of my very own." "I am so sorry, my dear," said Charles, "but I have no more Bibles to sell." Mary was sure she misheard. She was about to ask Charles to repeat what he said, but she found no words, only tears. She felt crushed and began to weep. "I'm sorry. She started, but her words turned to sobs. Now, my dear, what is it?" Charles asked. Mary began to explain, pausing between sentences to wipe away her tears, that she had been working and saving her earnings since she was 10, and that this was the day she had been waiting for. As Charles listened, he was moved, and his own tears began to well up. His life's work of bringing the gospel to the Welsh people seemed to hinge on what he would do in this moment. "I dare not send her away empty-handed," Charles thought. Then he remembered that his stock of Bibles was not quite exhausted. "You wait right here, miss," said Charles, quickly disappearing into his home. When he returned to the doorway, he handed Mary a thick book with a beautiful white cover. "I don't understand," Mary began, feeling the weight of the Bible in her hands. "I thought you—" "This was my last Bible. I was keeping it for someone who bought it, but now it is yours," Charles declared. Mary could hardly believe that she was holding her very own copy of God's Word, a 1799 Welsh edition. 6 years of hard work finally paid off.